I explained that these passports, according to the agent in the booth, and I don't think he was lying to me, maybe he was, but I don't think so. He said to me when I went to show him my barcode, he said, it's okay, I don't need to see it because you just pop up on the screen. So there's some sort of radius that they detect all the phones that have a COVID passport on it. And yesterday I came across the border as well again. I did a quick little run yesterday. Same thing. This time I didn't even volunteer the passport. Didn't even ask me, because that apparently links to their system and all my information pops up on their screen. And that's what you guys are going to get as well.
I'm Dave Rubin, and joining me today is the spokesman for the Canadian Truckers' Freedom Convoy, a busy man. BJ Dichter, welcome to the Rubin Report.
You have no idea how busy, and I started my day with a car accident. So, there you go.
Oh, geez. Are you all right? Does this have anything to do with the convoy?
I'm great. I'm going to need a new car, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? Such is life.
Such is life. Okay, well, we'll put that aside for a moment. Yeah. First off, where are you right now, and how did you become the spokesman for this freedom caravan, or as your Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls it, this group of Islamophobic, transphobic, anti-Semitic, crazy people?
Yes. I have a good friend from Alberta. She is a Métis, very influential Métis native in Alberta. She's from Medicine Hat. And her and some friends came up with this idea that, we're fed up. Our economy's crushed. We have no lives. One of them, Bridget, was just about to lose her job. And they just decided, we got to do something. Let's do a convoy. They did one a couple of years ago. And, it was small. And unfortunately, it didn't, due to internal wrangling, it didn't achieve what it wanted to do. So they decided this is going to be the convoy of all convoys. So they put the GoFundMe up, and they figured, well, let's get, maybe we'll get 100 trucks. We'll get $20,000. We'll get a little bit of money, and we'll go and have our voices heard. And Tamara called me, I think, the day after they started the GoFundMe, maybe more or less, day off, maybe 2 days, but I think it was the day after. And she said, oh my God, I need help. I need help with this. I'm like, what's going on? She said, we started this thing, and it's everywhere. It's exploding. We're already at I don't know what it was, $100,000, $200,000, whatever. And she said, can you come on board, help me? Because, she knows I produce podcasts, I do messaging and all that sort of stuff. And I said, yeah, sure, it'd be my pleasure. And I also happen to have a truck as well. So it was a perfect fit. And there we are, changing the world.
So you guys put the GoFundMe up, and now as we speak, is the GoFundMe still up? I thought I had heard something just in the last hour or so that maybe it had been taken down because of a violation of the terms of service or something.
Oh, that's the usual. Every 3 minutes, we get 1,000, 2,000 messages telling us it's up, it's down, it's up again, it's down again. People are unfortunately a little enthusiastic, and they come up with some ideas of what's going on. But right now, as far as I know, the last I spoke to them, the funds now are held for review again. And I'll explain what happened. The first time, the fake news media, it's not mainstream, started producing all these stories, Toronto Star, CBC, Yahoo News, that our funds were frozen because of, extremists and right-wingers and all that sort of stuff. And I said to the team, don't respond. I've used GoFundMe. I know their protocols. These are banking regulations. It always takes 7 to 10 days for a new account. It won't be blocked. Trust me. And so they're going around building this narrative. Oh, it's all this speculation of why it's blocked, and it wasn't blocked. And then we issued a press release once GoFundMe said, yeah, you're good to go. You meet all the criteria. We sent a press release to say to all the fake news media, we apologize. We don't know why you would release such a story. It was never frozen for those reasons. It's just a regular protocol. And GoFundMe has been great to work with. And
wow.
That was
all right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. For the record, what is the GoFundMe? Let's actually say it here so that people can donate. I know a lot of our audience has been donating already.
It's Freedom Convoy 2022. So if you go there, or you type that or Freedom Convoy Canada, you'll find that. But what has happened now is now it has been frozen again.
That seemed too positive a story.
It was great. It was great. Everything was going along. They were just starting to do the first e-transfers, and we did get some money transferred or whatever. And then last night, boom, message on the screen, $10.1 million, whatever. Now it's being held for review. We think what happened, and this tends to happen a lot for people who use GoFundMe, it tends to happen a lot from the fake news media. What they'll do is the leftist politicians, they'll get an army of people brigading your account and just, overload the system, and then the algorithm triggers, and then boom, it's being sent for review. Luckily now, because there's been so much international attention, we have a team of lawyers and a couple of accountants that have flown in. They're on site now in Ottawa. They came yesterday, and they're now starting the dialogue, working with GoFundMe, all that sort of stuff. So I imagine GoFundMe wants to avoid the PR disaster of all PR disasters, and we'll be good to go. That's what I think.
Right. All right. So let's cross our fingers on that. So in the simplest terms, now that we've all seen the videos, I'm covering it every day. It's starting even to bubble up a little bit in mainstream media, although, as you say, fake news media, it's tough to get these guys to pay attention to the right things. What is it that you guys want? What is the end game for the truckers and their supporters?
Simple. End the mandates and the passports. Now, the reason there's those two things, the mandates, obviously, that's the vaccine mandates. There's certain people who want it, don't want it, freedom of choice. I'm vaccinated. Some our people are, some of them aren't. But it's their choice. It's not the government's choice. It's your body, our choice. No, that's not how it works here, right?
Apparently.
The other thing is the passports. Is I think you saw when I was on Tucker, I explained that these passports, according to the agent in the booth, and I don't think he was lying to me. Maybe he was, but I don't think so. He said to me when I went to show him my barcode, he said, "It's okay. I don't need to see it because you just pop up on the screen." So there's some sort of radius that they detect all the phones.
Yep.
That have a COVID passport on it. And yesterday I came across the border as well again. I did a quick little run yesterday. Same thing. This time I didn't even volunteer the passport. Didn't even ask me, because that apparently links to their system and all my information pops up on their screen. And that's what you guys are going to get as well.
I mean, it's an episode of Black Mirror with a little bit of Minority Report, some Total Recall, a little bit of The Matrix. It's all happening right now. Okay, so the reaction to you guys from, say, the people that watch this show has been pretty positive. The reaction from Tucker's audience has been pretty positive, worldwide pretty positive. So I guess I got two on that, which is number one, how does it feel to be in the thick of something? I mean, Canadians are not used to being in the thick of like a true cultural, political moment. I mean, that's number one. And then number two, do you think that there's going to be real change because of this? I mean, it seems in the last day, even though Trudeau's hiding, the premier of Alberta kind of was like, oh, maybe we should give in to some of these demands. He was sort of like, I kind of wanted to do it, but now maybe they'll actually do it.
How does it feel? It's quite amazing. I've told this story a couple of times to people that I went behind the Parliament buildings when I first arrived here. There's a park behind the Parliament buildings, and there's a bridge that crosses over into Quebec. And I'm sure Viva Fry can expand on this. There was an army. I don't want to use that word. That means we're violent. Right? There was
quote.
There was thousands of people crossing the bridge into Ontario with their Quebec flags and their Canadian flags. Remember, separatism has always been a problem in Canada. Together and going to meet their Albertan and Prairie truck drivers and hanging out together, giving each other hugs. And, some guys didn't speak English, some guys didn't speak French, but they're trying to, figure out how to talk to each other, showing each other, look, this is truck, this is horn, beep, beep. And, it was wonderful. For the first time in this country's history, you got this sense of unity. And one, Canadians are not going to like me saying this, but one inferiority complex that we tend to have in Canada is you do have that unity of what it is to be an American, right? And for the first time, I'm seeing that in Canada. It's absolutely amazing. So to be in the middle of that, it's awe-inspiring.
Are you shocked how ridiculous the over-the-top attacks have been? I mean, that tweet by Trudeau, it's like he's got nothing left. And there was the other tweet from him, a year ago, truckers are all heroes, and now truckers are all the bad guys.
I'm not surprised in the least. I actually, before he did that press conference, I put on my Twitter, prediction, Prime Minister Diversity Blackface is going to come out and call us all racist and bigots and whatever phobes, and he's going to publicly shame us. Why? Because extremists always double down. They only have one strategy, and that's him.
Where do you see this going over the next couple of days? I mean, do you think that they're gonna really turn around some of this stuff? Do you think that this gets protracted? Are you afraid that maybe they give you an inch? I mean, this has been the thing that I've seen in the last couple of days where it's like, all right, the Premier of Alberta says, okay, we'll move on some of this stuff, and then you guys dissipate, you go back throughout the country, and then they just ramp it up again a week later, knowing that, you can do this once, but you probably can't do it at this level twice.
Yeah, that's what they tried with their convoy a couple of years ago, and they were successful in basically divide and conquer. And the politicians got one faction of their convoy fighting with another faction, and then it just fell apart. And a lot of people from out west learned that lesson that we're not going to let this happen again. Personally, I honestly don't see this going on too much longer. That's just I might be wrong. The morale on the ground is great. There's people dancing, meeting, people falling in love. Like it's like a hippie part. Like we've become the hippies. It's
We're
amazing.
Playing the videos, man. All the music, and they're cleaning up after themselves and shoveling snow. It's awesome.
And so we've had some communications with the police because we do have a command center with ex-military and a couple of ex-police officers there, ensuring that we have safety protocols, emergency vehicles have passed that they can go around things. Like it was really disorganized when we got here because we were overwhelmed. But what the police have indicated to us, they were monitoring us for several days, and they said, all right, you guys have been peaceful. You've been great. We know all that stuff in the media are complete lies. Keep it up. We are not going to act. This is now a political issue, and the government will deal with you. The Conservative leader was forced to resign, which I had told him a while ago, I'll get you, and we did. He was chasing Trudeau off a cliff, and well, there you go. So I don't see this going on for at some point, Trudeau's got to realize all these countries in Europe have abandoned the mandates. It's the easiest win in the world for him to say, you know what, the people, I disagree with them, but you know what, the science has changed. We're going to follow the European Union and the UK, and we're going to remove all the restrictions. Will he? I don't know.
Right, because it's hard once you've called everybody a bunch of racist, bigot, homophobes to be like, but they did have a good point. You mentioned that the Conservative leader just got voted out. So obviously I'm not an expert in Canadian politics, but I think I have a decent handle. And in essence, you guys sort of have two liberal parties, actually. One of them's just kind of called the Conservative Party. They're not very conservative in any way. But then you have the People's Party, which Maxime Bernier, who I've had on, who's been very involved in all of this, is the more libertarian party. Do you sense that they could gain a lot out of this and the Conservative and Liberal Party are just going to morph into one thing? Like, do you see a real reshaping of politics in Canada because it's like freedom or not? Pick one.
I wish that were the case, but no, and I'll tell you why. And I know Max personally. I spoke at his first conference. The Conservative Party, after Stephen Harper lost, decided, and I met some of those people, and I was in some of those meetings, and they said, well, we're going to go more center. And I said, you want to go center? That's okay. Like on social issues, like I'm very libertarian socially. That's great. That's a good idea. But don't follow those guys off a cliff. Well, they did. So now they have to rediscover their roots and become actual conservatives. But there's 45 MPs that voted to keep Erin O'Toole, the bald version of Justin Trudeau. So that's going to be a problem internally in the party. Maxime, but the problem with the PPC is there's no ground game. The last two elections, I asked him and I've asked his other candidates, I said, what's your GOTV strategy, your get out the vote? And Max always said, well, we're going to do it at the conference. We're going to do it here. And I asked their candidates, they have no idea. So if they're going to be serious about it, I think they got to dial back the grandstanding a little bit and actually do community engagement. And they do nothing. I mean, that's how politics works, right? You got to get riding by riding, and they're doing none of it. So I don't know. I think the strategy that they're using right now is just going to lead to back to the old liberal versus conservative. But the question is, will the Conservative Party become, more center right? Will they? With Candace at the helm? Yes, but she's an interim leader. And it's frustrating. The reason I got away from a lot of this stuff is because you say to them, okay, well, use her as an interim leader, go into an election as soon as possible. And then if she wins, then keep her as leader. But everybody turns into a bureaucrat. Well, the rules and the policy guide is she can't, screw the rules, use your head, use your moral will and moral skill. But they have that inability. And that's the biggest thing that destroys that party in all the years that I've known it.
To Candace Bergen's credit, at least she called him out on the blackface the other day at Parliament, so that was pretty good. All right, here's the bumper clip. We're going to clip this thing and put it up on social media. If you had a message right now, maybe to Justin Trudeau and to the world, it can be two messages, it can be one message. Give me something that everybody can see and hear and truly understand what you guys are all about.
If you're anywhere near Ottawa, come down to Trudeau's truck stop, right in front of his office and his parliament. It is all peace and love. We are going to solve this together. It's all unity. It's a great vibe. Yes, people are upset. They want change, and change is on the horizon. But we're going to do that when we stick together. We be unified. We don't take the bait from the leftist activists. And we got all the time in the world. We're going to do it. And I think once we're successful with it, you're going to see all the provinces follow suit. And that I'm hoping, will have a ripple effect in the United States, given the amount of support we're getting from our American brethren in the trucking industry. And there's a whole convoy of American trucks at the border. I think it's not Montana, it's another border. American trucks draped in Canadian flags. Would you ever have dreamed of thinking of that ever happening? That's the type of unity that is going to come out of this. And we're right on the cusp of a new golden age where we all start to listen to each other.
How about that for a positive story and a grand narrative? BJ, I wish you guys the best of luck. Anything I can do for help, you know where to get me. And now get out there and change the world, man. Thanks.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about international issues instead of nonstop yelling, check out our international playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.